It's kind of good to just listen to it.
Son of a bitch. Is this a Friday?
Goddamn. That was... I was in another realm for a minute.
Shit. Eddie Van Halen. Greatest guitar player of our time or no?
That's a big pool.
Yeah, well, it is, but I will say this.
One of. Certainly one of.
I will say this, is that I do know there's no bigger fan of Eddie Van Halen than Eddie Van Halen. Welcome to the Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast. It is a Friday.
Hopefully your faces aren't too horribly melted off right now.
Yeah, indeed true, because as we know, that young Eddie, oh, well, not young Eddie, that cat's fucking, what, in his 60s?
62?
62 today. That dude's been getting an AARP magazine in his fucking mailbox for a dozen years now.
Oh. What are Van Halen up to?
Well, I don't know. Firing longtime loyal band members and nepotism. They're up to nepotism. That's what.
So it's just the brothers right now, right?
It is his brother on the drums and fucking his son on the bass guitar. Yeah, because they fucking shit canned what's his face. So, yeah.
How do you fucking shit can Michael Anthony? How do you do that?
Or
are they jealous of Chickenfoot?
Be an asshole. Be an asshole. That's how you do it.
Because they were in band with he was in band with Sammy Hagar. Is that why?
Well, yeah, but Sammy Hagar fucking picked him up. He said there was nobody that worked harder in Van Halen than Michael Anthony.
Well, look at the guy. He has to work hard.
And if anybody should know, it should fucking definitely be Sammy Hagar.
Yeah. Well, hell, he was frontman for
a long time, longer than David Lee Roth.
The entire 90s until they got a dude from Extreme, Gary Sharon.
Well, which is a whole different bolo.
That was the what you call the Van Halen Dark Ages.
I think really almost any of it after David Lee Roth left the band might be considered that. But I don't know. I did like Van Hagar to some degree.
Yeah, that album Balance was pretty good.
It's all right. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I don't know. It's the Eddie Van Halen show.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's why the whole David Lee Roth thing didn't work out, because
it's fucking David Lee Roth's show if he's on stage.
That's exactly fucking right.
As it should be.
I guess.
I mean, if you're one of the greatest guitar players on the planet, you don't need the spotlight. You already have it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it is true. I mean, you look at Deep Purple. Any band that has a guitar player that's got a fucking ego the size of God. I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, look at almost all of them. But I mean, Richie Blackmore, same thing. Yeah. Look, Deep Purple had a share of good lead singers, but none of them overshadowed. There wasn't the David Lee Roth effect.
Right. Well, fucking David Lee Roth, like a black belt.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then a lot of people come and go, hey, maybe he'll get back, and then maybe they'll get the band back together. They can't. Those are two egos that just can't
fit on the same fucking planet, let alone the same room.
That's right.
And that album they put out was horse shit.
Yeah.
Bad Tattoo or whatever.
Right.
Ooh, bad stuff.
But I mean, yeah, and David Lee Roth hadn't done anything exceptional either. I mean, really, you got to go back to early '80s and '70s Van Halen to find the good shit.
I mean, that late '80s David Lee Roth was pretty fun.
Well, Jump?
No. I mean, like I'm Just a Gigolo.
Well, yeah, but that was off of.
I like this solo stuff.
Yeah, off of what was that? Diver Down? Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that was like 83, 84. I mean, yeah.
That shit came out before Jump? Damn.
Yeah, Jump kind of really, that was kind of the turning point of Van Halen for me, but it's the Mead, Metal, MMA podcast. Come together each week, talk about three of our favorite things going on, having to do with Mead, having to do with metal, having to do with MMA. How the hell are you?
Well, Friday, we got beer. We got our humble bottle.
Indeed. This podcast is brought to you by Bullet Rye Whiskey.
95.
Distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And according to the Surgeon General, women should drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy. Should not, because of the risk of birth defects.
Oh, I thought that was like, this is a new way we're going to curtail dumb youth. Awesome.
They'll come out small so we can beat them down.
What they call a fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah.
Get a lot of those weird, lazy-eyed, broad-nosed, like just dumb-looking children.
Yeah, well, them outside of, say, the Deep South. But yes, that's the... well, that was a bit of a shot over the bow, wasn't it?
Whoa! Over my poor bow.
Shit, how's your week?
It's pretty great. I've got some news. These Friday segments are going to get a lot less interesting from my side.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Leaving the employ, are you?
I was fucking ushered out.
Yeah.
Unharmoniously, even though I worked there.
So you can really relate to David Lee Roth this week, then.
I can. That's what I felt like. I was like, I went in, I was kicking fucking ass at my job in the face of adversity, and basically owner's brother, who was basically the reason why I got my job initially, because the dude's a sad drunk and lived at the hotel and worked 7 days a week, so he clearly wasn't capable of the hospitality aspect of the job as well.
Yeah.
Keep the lights on, but that's about it. He's returning with his shit-ass son. Still shit-ass.
So all this can't miss, right?
No, I see nothing but profit over there now.
Yeah.
Or either that or lawsuits.
So you're going to sit back and be a ward of the state then for a little bit then?
I'm just going to fucking pull my pud, maybe live in a cave somewhere. Somewhere with decent Wi-Fi so I can Skype you my side of the podcast and be like, no, man, I'm just rocking my caveman style, my cave, living in my own shit.
Yeah.
Great.
Probably literally, but
it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You know? You can tell from my tales that they were steadily getting worse.
Kind of. Yeah.
To the point where it's like, it might be time.
Yeah, no, I mean, initially it was like, hey, that'd be kind of cool working the hotel business. And then after a while, like, Jesus Christ, man.
No, the only time it's cool is if you fucking work at a big one.
Yeah.
Where you have your job.
Right.
I mean, in my place, I had 4 fucking jobs.
Sure.
IT, I was fucking front desk, I was a laundry whore, and a breakfast whore.
Right.
I was a whore in 4 different aspects and got paid what one whore got paid.
Yeah, that's not good, dude.
That's all right, because I'm worth money there. I'm also worth money elsewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
God damn it, I'm a charming, handsome ginger man, and I can work anywhere, except like a library or near schools.
That weird little pesky thing in the laws.
That's right. You know, we ain't gonna get into that. Though. How's your week?
Been kind of a fun one. Ended up picking up adopted a pooch from the animal shelter here in town, who's apparently got a little bit of a sneeze thing going on here today. But
the one that was trying to fuck me earlier.
He's a dachshund, around probably 1 year old, and the cat is not impressed because I forgot about the sexual promiscuity of dachshunds at about that age group that are unfixed. Is that they're just trying to pass on their genetic seed to whatever is around.
Because time is short.
Apparently. And no, like I said, the cat around the Mead Hall is not at all impressed because, frankly, this dog can't leave him alone, you know. Other than that, I think he's going to be a good dog. We're going to get him fixed here not quite 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll kind of nip that shit in the bud. But he's a good dog otherwise when he's not completely preoccupied with trying to figure out where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, he's a handsome little motherfucker, I got to admit.
Yeah.
But he knows it, too.
But he is, he's got, I mean, if you can't lean down to pet him, you got to go in kind of fast because otherwise he's going to grab a hold of your arm.
Let me tell you, this guy's got a plum clench that is amazing.
Yeah, so
that cat's going to get fucked in the ass at least once.
If he hasn't already. I don't know.
I mean, he's not going to tell you.
But, yeah, so yeah, that's kind of been my week is kind of looking after this dog because, I mean, he's got the energy of 15 dogs. I mean, he just nonstop. Other than that, we had a fun time in the little town of which we call home. This week they had some vandals broke into like a grain elevator where they make like nutrient stuff for livestock.
Yeah, feed and shit.
Yeah, they had food grade quality mineral oil that they use for like making. They call it cake. That's what they feed to cows and shit like that. But somebody broke in and dumped over 5,000 gallons of mineral oil in the smack in the middle of town, and it covered like a 3-4 block area.
Yeah.
And they had, like crews out there blasting it with sand and pouring sand and scooping it up and all that shit, trying to pick all this stuff up because, I mean, it's fine. It is food grade, so I don't know what the huge worry is of it. But, I mean, Jesus. It was created apparently quite a mess.
Well, it seems like our humble little town here has to have a little shit catastrophe at least once a month now. Either water mains breaking or oil flooding the city streets.
Yeah, but that one's kind of a big one, though.
Yeah. I mean, our downtown area is not what you'd call huge.
Yeah.
But it's still covered that and blocks more.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Good luck if you need to go to the fucking bank.
So I imagine the cost of mineral oil probably has gone up, at least in the futures trade. So.
I hope y'all stocked up on your Vaseline.
Well, that's petroleum jelly. I think you're okay.
Okay, never mind. Lubricants are fine.
Yes, your industrial grade lubricants are, or whatever you do on your time off. Let's get to it. Mead. Hey, guess what? It's going to sound like a broken record, as we say every week. We currently have 2 batches underway that are pretty much about the end here. The one thing we were really waiting on, I didn't want to go getting all excited about moving stuff around until we actually had our order of bottles come in. The bottles came in this past week, a couple of days ago. The reason it taken so long, they've been back ordered. Apparently, the entire stock of, what did we go through, Northern Brewer or Midwest Brewer? Got wiped out after the holidays, and they weren't able to fulfill our order. So that's primarily what we've been waiting on. I didn't really want to put it off on anybody else because you sound like an asshole. You start blaming shit beyond your control, but it was beyond our control. But the bottles are in now. We'll probably be bottling Longships Thursday. Totally. Yeah, that'd be the first. Yeah. That's probably the only available. Well, fuck, you're off now.
Yeah, I got me some free fucking time.
I'd like to do it before we hit February. So, shit, maybe sometime this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, who knows?
We can do that shit Tuesday morning if you want to, because that's when I'm officially donezo.
Yeah. So we might do it. But it's going to happen sometime this next week. Troublemaker, I'd like to rack that one more time just for clarity purposes, and then it'll be ready to go. And then pretty much, hopefully by the second week of February, everything will be done. Yeah. I mean, as far as, the corks will have been, done their thing. Because what you want to do after you cork them, you want to get them a full solid week of just sitting there and allow it to kind of hit the equilibrium,
right. Let the cork dry out, grab on.
Yeah, and then put the PVC capsules over the tops of shrinks, and get those on, and then, get the labels all on and done. I'm hoping before Valentine's Day. To get all that shit sussed out, as the Brits would say.
Indeed.
So that's truly the update on the Mead right now.
I grabbed a bottle of Green Man last night.
Did you suck it all down in one night? The reason I ask is because we had somebody else that bought one, and they said that their guts were killing them the next day.
It's not like this is the first time I've done it.
That's true.
This is how I roll. I'm built for it. I will say this though, Green Man has gotten hotter. Because I got 3 drinks into my bottle. I don't have a wine glass, so I just drink it right out of the fucking bottle.
Give you old slug like a hero.
And it gave me the hiccups.
Oh.
Not the boozy like, oh, how dry I am hiccups. I mean like, oh, I just ate a really hot pepper and I got the hiccups now.
Well, but what takes care of a lot of that too, and that would be allowing the air to get to it.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it on the show before, but I mean, if you decant it, if you got something that you can pour it into and let it splash around really well. Now, this is dependent on you drinking all of it, which for you, that's kind of a thing. But
it doesn't see the light of day next day.
When you do that, though, it adds a lot of air into it, and I think it really would take a lot of the fire out of it. So
yeah. Well, I didn't mind it. I mean, I can take care of heat hiccups, no problem.
Sure. But the average guy on the street. But that's why I also we don't get that shit in the hands of anybody not from New Mexico, unless they know what they're signing up for.
Right. And that's why we really just make it that one time.
Yeah.
Once a year.
And if you have it, and you were probably drinking at room temperature too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, if you get it really cold, that also takes a lot of that heat out.
Yeah.
Which actually I think is probably what lends itself to the morning surprise. Sure. I think it's come to been cold.
Yeah. I mean, bathroom time ain't fun the next day, but I don't feel like shit.
Yeah. No.
I mean, as a matter of fact, it works better than milk of magnesia. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but I do think it'll remain an annual batch, and we'll probably try to take a little easier on the heat levels next time around. Frankly,
fuck the pussies, man. We're going hotter. Scorpion pepper next year.
Yeah, we're gonna use the Lokia or whatever the hell it is, the Jokia pepper, the ghost pepper,
chocolate ghost pepper. Yeah.
But so that leads us to the next thing. What are we going to do next? I fucking really don't know. I think what we might do, because that'll be 2 full batches, and we still have inventory. We got they're down to just 2 or 3 left, but
yeah,
Runestone,
4 of Green Man, 4 of Runestone, 4 of Holly King, and 3 of Runestone.
Yeah, I mean we don't have much left, but dude, by the time we get these bottles, we'll have 5 different bottles in inventory. Now, granted, not much, but I don't want to start getting so much inventory on hand. Now, in some ways, it might be a good thing because hey, then we can just go stack it and wait for next year,
Right.
But I don't know. I'd kind of like to start experimenting with some other stuff. Back in the Middle Ages, late Middle Ages, there was such a thing called braggot. And what that is, it's basically a mix between beer and mead. What a lot of people do now, the modern way of doing it is to basically brew your own home brew of beer and then add mead to it. I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it the way they did it back in the the 1500s.
Well, that's what we're all about here.
Yeah, and actually make it within a self-contained deal where you kind of are making beer and you're making mead at the same time in the same fermenter. It's going to require some more research. I've read a lot, and I kind of have a working knowledge of what we need to do, but I kind of want to. I haven't been challenging myself, and I kind of miss that. When we kind of first fired up this operation 3 years ago, everything was a challenge. Well, I don't want to say it's getting to be old hat, but it's
become rinse repeat a bit. Yeah,
there is not a lot of exploratory kind of work.
Well, Runestone was the last batch we did that we really kind of went out there and just tried it out.
Yeah,
that we ran the test batch and dug it and just went fucking full scale on it.
Yeah.
After that, it's just kind of like going back to our old classics.
Right.
Because we had Green Man, and we already had a case of Holly King on the back end ready to go.
Right.
And now we got Troublemaker and Longships coming up. I mean, those are all our fucking signature brands, really.
Sure. You know what I mean? And I would also like to just give one shot at making a batch of beer, not for our donators or anything else, really for me and you know, but just so, because I always constantly get that, oh, you're a home brewer. What kind of beer do you make? I don't make beer. I'm above that.
Different kind of brew.
Yeah, well, but yeah. I'm just really, truly, I'm wanting a challenge, and the challenge of making the same batches of meat over and over again are kind of really not there, you know. So I mean, that's what's kind of been problematic for what we're kind of doing. Pardon the sound there. I forgot I didn't have that muted, but
damn wiener dog.
Yeah, but yeah, that's where we're kind of at moving forward. Yeah, we're going to make more mead, but I just I want to find a challenge. That's what it is, you know.
Sure.
So, but anyway, that's the mead update for the week. And really, frankly, this would be a great week if we had a whole lot of other shit to really cover. Because we don't, because the metal kind of sucks this week. The MMA side of it is kind of a little weak. But and I will say this, talking about exposing error to things. Now, I'll say this in a generalized way. The best cup of coffee I've ever made at my own fucking house, I've just discovered over this past week. I've been on this crazy goddamn diet, the keto diet, but it's not your standard keto diet. I tell people, like, oh, yeah, I'm on that too. No, you're not. I saw you eating a cheeseburger the other day, asshole. But, because there's some people that are like, yeah, well, I'm allowed up to 40 grams of carbs a day. No, you're not, because your body's probably not going to be actually in a solid state of ketosis. So, well, and if it is at various times, you're not becoming what's called keto adapted.
Right, you're not getting the benefit.
And the ultimate goal is to become keto adapted and everything. It's a long bunch of bullshit, and I don't want to bore you with it. But I've been actually on a sterner one. I'm talking about between 12 and 14 grams of carbs a day. Yeah. You know. Which allows me, if I were to grab a box of Cheez-Its, I could have probably four or five Cheez-Its.
And you're done for the day.
Yeah, that's kind of it, you know.
God damn. Shit, you can't even have a shot of NyQuil.
A shot of NyQuil, by the way. And I did that, and I accidentally kicked myself out of ketosis the other day because I was actually just looking for something to knock me out because my brains have been running a little hot here lately, you know. And so yeah, I took some NyQuil, and as soon as I did, I went, that's up.
That's some sugary shit right there.
Yeah, and I did. I immediately jumped online, looked at 20 grams of carbs in one shot of NyQuil. So hillbilly schnapps off the table for me.
Right.
You know, so, but I have found, though, so I've been putting a lot of MCT, well, not a lot. I've been doing MCT oil for a long, long time, along with heavy cream with my coffee. And, you know, the coffee's kind of where I'm really trying to make up ground on fats. And really the only way I can get a jump on it because I got to hit like 122 grams of fat a day. That's a lot.
Damn.
Oh, fuck yeah, it is.
Shit.
So having to hit those numbers, unless I'm doing some pretty creative shit, I'm not going to hit that on a daily basis. In what case, then it starts starving the body, because the body has to operate on those fats, and if you don't have enough, you're in a deficit. Well, so heavy cream, MCT oil in the morning, that helps a bunch, and again in the afternoon. But I found out, utilizing what we know about Mead, of splashing it around, and you get a much more mellow, aged flavor. Yeah. Coffee does the same thing. I'd always laugh at these assholes you see on these travel channels and everything else, and they're holding the coffee decanter way up over their head and letting it splash all the way down into a mug. There's something to be said for that. You get a lot of notes you don't usually pick up in coffee when you do it that way. Yeah. So, so there's that. I'm not tooting my own horn or anything else, but it's the best coffee I've had at my own house.
Well, it ain't bad.
But, yeah. So we can move on to metal, and regrettably so. We've been so spoiled. The end of 2017, the second half of 2017, was so great. We're starting to expect every week to have one gym in there. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle here in 2018. I mean, there's some things. I mean, obviously we'll talk about them. But, man, nothing that knocks my socks off this week. Last week was okay. The week before that, not so much. We've had one decent week in 2018.
Yeah.
And this ain't
staggered out of the gate, but hopefully it's a lot like 2017. It just starts gradually going, and then
2017 started slow too.
Because we're getting APC this year, we're getting Tool this year.
Yeah.
There's going to be some good Fridays.
Well, so new releases this week. I'm going to go down the list. I'll comment as I can. Anguish has got one out this week. Magna SV Suna, or Suigna. I'm not sure what the pronunciation is on that. It's okay. It's kind of a black metal, so I mean, be prepared.
Yeah.
Black Moth is my favorite of the week. They do have a female singer, and I know a lot of times people say you can't have a female lead singer in a doom metal band. Yeah, you can. But you actually were pretty astute. If there's a female singer,
it's all about her.
Well, and you've either got Penthouse or Outhouse.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think this is pretty much at least right at the doorstep of Penthouse.
Yeah, I think it's got. I would have to listen to the whole record. I mean, their single that's out, but the record is Anatomical Venus. So I would check it out. I'd certainly recommend it. You were actually a fan of this one. That's Hooded Menace. They have Osarium Silhouettes Unhollowed.
Yeah, that's a tough fucking album name to say.
Yeah.
Or remember, really.
Right.
I remember Hooded Menace before I remember the name of the album.
Real harsh vocal, which I think it depends on the mood you're in of whether you're going to dig it or not.
Yeah. When I listened to it, I was kind of like needing that kind of Lamb of God kind of punch.
Cradle of Filth kind of.
Yeah, well, not so much Cradle of Filth.
That's
in the mood like, I'm these wrists are real unscarred right now. I'm gonna change that type of music.
Yeah.
Hooded Menace. Goddamn, we're both dying. Death metal, doom metal band. I kind of take umbrage with a little bit of the doom metal part because it's a little too heavy. Some heavy shit out of Finland. Which kind of will get me to listen to it.
Sure.
Death metal, doom metal from Finland. I'm going to give you a shot. It's very hit and miss. If you're in a shitty mood, though, fucking punch it on. Punch it on and get it done. But it is a little divisive, but the melodic aspects of it I really dig. I just don't think there's enough of it in there to consider it a doom metal band.
Yeah. No, doom metal, I don't. I think there's an unwritten rule. You can't have somebody that's got those really, really like harsh vocals. Yeah. I mean, or at least you commonly don't hear it that often. And if you do, it's down in the mix.
It's secondary, if anything.
Yeah.
But in a realm of when we had things come out, like what do you got next on the list?
Howling Sycamore, album of the same name, debut album from them.
That fucking prog release, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan.
No.
Musically, I didn't listen to it long enough to really take it all in, but what I heard sounded okay. When the singer kicked in, I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah. No, that's the same reaction I had. Here's a weird one for it. I don't know. I think it's a big gamble on their part. Machine Head has a new one out, and it's called Catharsis. And I thought,
we've talked about them the first single they put out sounded a whole lot like Devin Townsend's Strapping Young Lad's Love.
Yeah.
Which it did. Kaleidoscope that I heard today, it didn't sound like a Devin Townsend song, but it sounded like something if I'm going to Lubbock and I put it on 94.5 FMX.
Yeah.
Get your Lubbock metal on.
I think it's hilarious that you do have a delineation called Lubbock metal. So, but
yeah,
but
I'm trying to start a genre for these people. I'm trying to give them money.
But I don't know. It's not the Machine Head I know. That's a fact. At least the single I've heard off of Catharsis today. So,
Metal Injection says the deeper cuts are really solid.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything else off the new album. I'm sure we'll stumble across it sometime tonight. But from what I've heard, the first song made me want to listen to Strapping Young Lad. The second one made me not want to listen.
That made me stop listening to music for a while.
It made me want to put in the Burning Red album that Machine Head put out in like 99.
Yeah,
which is probably my favorite. But that was like they hit their peak in the 90s when they were new, man.
Yeah.
2000. The past 15 years have not been kind to him musically, I think.
Well,
and I know a lot of people disagree with that because it's so easy to like a band that's established.
Sure.
But damn it, you go back and listen to the first 3 Machine Head albums, and then you listen to the last 3. There's a huge gap.
And it's not getting any better is the problem.
The Kaleidoscope fucking video starts with Rob Flynn. I mean, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it seems like they're...
It's immediately built for the radio. And I know that's not like... It's a shitty thing to say, and I'm not throwing it out there to be a dick, but it reeks of like, we really want this to be played on the radio so we get it more exposure. I dig that. I understand that. But you don't have to go right off the fucking blueprint.
Sure. Well, another new release this week is a band. I like them. I do, but man, it's Orphaned Land. And All For One, I think, was their last one, or something along those lines. But this one, their new one's Unsung Prophets and Dead Messiahs. They're a very political band, sort of. They're out of Israel. 4 members in the band, and hey, guess what? One's a Jewish guy, one's a Christian, one's a Muslim, and one's something fucking else. But
Petah Tikva, Israel.
But here's the weird thing, and if you're a musician, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. They play with a certain modality. I mean, rather than talking about scales or whatever, but they play with a mode rather than certain scales. But that mode is present in everything they do, and it's a very Middle Eastern mode. So, and I don't remember what it is. A Dorian mode, maybe. I don't remember. But the problem is that it is so prevalent in every song they have. Man. Yeah. I can listen to them for about 10 minutes and I'm done.
Listen to one song and you're good.
Yeah.
I'd actually first heard Orphan Land on a Phase Shift, that Guitar Hero clone for the PC. That's actually where I discovered a lot of this shit. Like I'd heard Winter Madness long before you and I had even started hanging out.
With Winter Sun, yeah.
Yeah, just because it was a shreddy bit on that game. But yeah, this is... If you've heard their last 2 albums, you've heard the new one.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means, hey, if you like those, you're going to like this one too. There's no danger.
Yeah, I mean, and I do recall, because I was kind of proud of it, because it had just came out and went over and hung out in your frozen shop with you one evening.
That's what bonded us as bros.
And broke it out then. And it is, All Is One. That came out in 2013. I don't know if it was their last one or not, but man, that's when I went, I found out. I was like, God dang, there is nothing original with these guys. It's the same sound every song. Hey, and I get it. You got to establish like a marquee sound, but man, don't do it in modes. That's terrible. It's terrible.
You got to keep it. It's got to be changing a little bit. I mean, that might just be my flavor too, because I mean, shit, we listen to some things like, God, Paul Bearer. The latest album, that thing fucking changes musical styles almost on every song.
Sure.
And timing, I mean, everything changes, which keeps me interested.
Right.
This one is just like, hey, this is the 3rd album. Sounds just like the last 2. You're going to like it.
Man, I'm going to let you go ahead and address the next one. Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals with their release this week. Choosing mental illness as a virtue is the name of it.
All right, I might be the wrong, because I didn't even listen to it.
Well, it's
here's why. I feel like I've already heard it. every Phil Anselmo song that has come out since, I would say, the second Superjoint Ritual CD, Phil's voice is gone.
Yeah.
It is fucking gone. You cannot have that singing style and expect to stick around for 30 years.
It's fact.
Not, especially with all the other shit he's done to his body. I'm good. I'm done with Phil. There's never going to be a Pantera reunion.
Right.
Fucking Vinnie Paul hates his guts. That's
Sure.
really the only value he has. Is he used to be in Pantera, which with the death of Dimebag has become like the one of those. It's like the Alice in Chains of metal.
My problem with Pantera, because I wasn't a fan, before Daryl got shot.
Right.
So I don't know what the point of reference is. Before that, was Dimebag was he the head, the main guy, the face of that band? Okay, because I know after he got shot, he was definitely the face of that band, and people lamented him and everything else. And then it took a couple of years, then people went, yeah, but you got Phil. You got Phil Anselmo.
Yeah, but then the dude started doing the Nazi shit on stage at a Dimebag tribute concert.
Yeah, that's a little fucked up.
And then, and like even fucking Rob Flynn of Machine Head fucking called him out on it. And Phil tried to play it off as nothing, but there's video of it. It's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
Whether he was trying to be funny or not, it was a terrible fucking joke.
Yeah.
He should not be a comedian. He should stick to what he knows.
Well,
but I mean, I will say avoid anything with Phil Anselmo's name on it, from 2007 up.
It's not an easy listen. Choosing mental illness is a virtue. But you can check it out if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it. Another Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. The Age of Absurdity is their new release.
Yeah, man.
Phil Campbell, the guitar player for Motorhead, basically from 1984 all the way till really until 2015. When God rest his soul, Lemmy went to play in heaven.
Yeah, goddamn, and now he's basically got the entire original lineup up there.
Yeah. Really, well, Phil Campbell being probably he wasn't an original, but but that dude was around for shit. Almost 30 years.
Yeah, Eddie Clark left in like
84.
Yeah, so shit. I mean, the Phil Campbell, Mickey D, Motorhead, Lemmy lineup. Say Motorhead instead of Lemmy.
Yeah.
That I think that was probably when they were most solid.
Sure.
Maybe not the best, but that was when they were fucking just on point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their new stuff was really good. Terrorizer came out in like 2008, 2009.
Well, don't get me lying on that one because I really wasn't big into the scene right then.
Yeah, right.
So.
I mean, it sounded great. It was fucking heavy as fuck. It had everything. I'm kind of bummed. I got to agree with the guy in Metal Injection. Kind of bummed that Phil Campbell and Mickey D didn't fucking do something together.
Yeah, but I really think Lemmy Kilmister was the grease that really kept those wheels together. And I think in some cases, if what feels like an obligation is lifted, once that particular glue is gone.
Yeah. Which really says a lot about the bond between Phil Campbell and Mickey D.
Yeah.
And maybe things weren't wine and roses, but they were fucking enjoying the ride of Motorhead and were able to put that shit aside and do
call
well.
it what it is. Motorhead was Lemmy Kilmister.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, and everybody else was just a willing participant,
Right.
Well, with no Lemmy, you have no willing participants anymore.
Right. It would have been nice because I don't know if this new album.
And give it time, dude. I mean, it's only been a couple of years, so.
Goddamn, first thing Mickey D does is go and tour with Scorpions.
Well, that's money. That's a paycheck.
Yeah, it's like Mickey D went from being in one of the pioneering.
I mean, the shot glass.
Fucking thrash metal bands of all time. You could even say fucking got heavy metal started before Black Sabbath.
Sure. Well, yeah, a version.
Yeah, that thrash metal.
Yeah. No, I mean, God, man. When I was a teenager, I kind of went from this heavy metal transition to punk, basically. And in order to find thrash, really, and that was kind of the wheelhouse that I'd found that at one point for a few months of a teenage life was kind of what I was into, and but the thing is, even then, I thought, oh no, I don't want to listen to Motorhead. That shit's a little too heavy for me. Yeah. So I mean, even then, and that was back in probably 84, 85.
Well, Motorhead's a band that I didn't like till I was, a lot older too.
I didn't learn to appreciate them until the 2000s.
Yeah. Same way.
The appreciation process.
Ace of Spades was on the first Guitar Hero game. That was when I really. But I was already familiar with the song.
Right.
But playing it hundreds of fucking times to try to perfect it, fucking made me love Motorhead.
Right. Yeah, and for all of you out there saying, man, Guitar Hero. Well, yeah, it actually gives you a different appreciation.
Come at me.
It gives you a different appreciation from a very different angle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anybody that thinks doing that shit is like comparable to actually doing the real thing is full of shit, but it's still fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
a replacement. Jack White can go fuck himself.
Yeah. Well, what I think is different about it, and I was never a Guitar Hero guy, but I can understand it because watching a lot of the phase shift shit that you were putting together and everything else, is that it causes you to have to think in very different terms in the music. You know? Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Anything that causes you to think a little differently than what is the accustomed approach, I don't find any problem with it.
Well, it breaks the music down as like patterns.
Sure.
As 5.
And patterns are there, but that's the problem. Beginning guitar players, bass players, drummers, whatever. Well, drummers are different, but don't notice those patterns. And they might have to be a musician for a very long time before they begin to really understand fully what an AB structure kind of is, and the various, configurations that you have. I don't have a problem with it.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's really no problem to be had. Just fucking musicians, snobby-ass musicians.
It is.
Shit.
Somebody whose mother dropped a couple of grand on getting them guitar lessons as an unwilling child, then they're going to be, well, I don't need that shit. Yeah, well, you know what? You don't need it, but fuck, man, it's a short life. Have fun.
Exactly. And I will say this. The one thing it did help me with as far as playing guitar was timing. Between my hands.
Sure.
Like it really helped fucking my strumming hand.
The right hand is
that
actually...
and the serious masturbation really helped out too.
Let's see. Eddie Van Halen's birthday today. We mentioned that at the outset. 62 years of age.
That's right. Mike Patton born today of Faith No More.
Faith No More, yeah.
1968.
Yeah, that dude's 50 years old.
Vocalist for Cowboy Junkies, Margot Timmons. Born 1961.
Margot, I'm familiar with his Kidder.
Yeah. That's about it on fucking birthdays. We have had some metal news, which I'll kind of glaze over.
All right, lay it on me, my man.
Sleep, a band that we dig.
They're kind of, yeah, I guess so. They're a little on the slower side of,
hence the name.
Yeah, they're good for sleep, sure.
They're going on tour. Looks like they might dip down into New Mexico land.
Are they going to call it the Wide Awake Tour?
That would be pretty fucking ironic, don't you think? Metallica is remastering and reissuing the $5.98 EP Garage Days Revisited.
Good Lord, we just talked about that, last week before?
Yeah, when we were talking about Garage Inc.
Yeah.
They're remastering. It's just 5 jams, but has a Diamond Head cover of Helpless, their cover of Holocaust of Small Hours. My favorite song off there, cover of Killing Joke's The Weight. Kind of a weird... It sounded shitty on the actual album, and they have a remastered version on YouTube. I'm going to fucking check it out later.
Sure.
They covered Budgie, Crash Course in Brain Surgery, and Misfits' Last Caress and Green Hell, which, of course, anyone who's a Metallica fan listening right now fucking realizes that whole they know all those people.
Yeah, right.
I doubt it's going to be $5.98 when it comes out.
Well, fingers crossed.
Even if they adjust for inflation, it'll probably be a little under $13.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure these are going to have like 5 different vinyl options.
Isn't that kind of weird, though, that price level stayed the same when everything kind of went to digital?
Yeah.
Even though there's actually not a physical product or resources that you have to commit.
No manual labor to produce a physical copy at all. It's like, this costs about the same. I'm saving like $2. Motley Crue fan, are you?
No. Actually, the problem I had with Motley Crue was because I took a different road. During that real heyday of metal, you hit a weird crossroads coming out of the period of listening to Black Sabbath and Dio and Deep Purple. Well, okay, but you kind of got into that early '80s. You either started listening to Iron Maiden or you started listening to Motley Crue.
Yeah.
I went the Iron Maiden route, so I just never... it was glam rock to me.
Totally. No,
fucking
it totally
girls goes, come on, man, really smoking in the boys' room.
I mean, I can if "Kickstart My Heart" comes on, I can listen to that song.
Man, there were a lot of guitar players I knew that really dug that.
Just that. Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck their music. I'm not bringing them up for their music. I'm bringing them up for their fucking biopic.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, did Vince Neil kill somebody again?
Himself. And the only reason I bring this up is because of two things. They wrote that book, The Dirt. Basically, their whole autobiography on their life.
Yeah, which
I'm sure is an interesting read, but
some people have said that it's a lot of embellishment.
I
would say
horse shit.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. But they're going to be doing a movie of it. They've been working on it for years, and apparently now they're actually getting underway with it. It's going to be on Netflix.
So in other words, they all need to make a little extra cash.
Yeah, some weird-looking blonde dude's going to play Vince Neil that I've never heard of. Apparently he's in Netflix, The Punisher.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say it was that little fucker that was in the suicide forest in Japan.
Yeah, that'd be good. Someone's playing Nikki Sixx I've never heard of. Tommy Lee being played by a guy who we saw on TV at UFC 220. Machine Gun Kelly.
Well,
I think it's probably just because of tattoos. Guys, tattoos all over his stupid body, much like Tommy Lee. The only difference is Tommy Lee's a musician and can play drums. I don't think Machine Gun Kelly can play drums like Tommy Lee.
And has hepatitis C. So,
and a huge dick. But that's worthless now, but whatever. But here's something. This is why I bring it up, really. Playing Mick Mars, the guitar player, is our very own Ramsey Bolton. Actor Ewan Ryan is playing Mick Mars.
I'm
really intrigued by
I'm
that.
actually okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
Would you say that Mick Mars is probably the least known of the four in that band?
Yeah, because he's the most. I mean, he got sick, like not recently, probably past 10 years.
Yeah.
But to the point where like he's just up there and shredding.
Emaciated.
Yeah,
shit,
he doesn't look good, but he is certainly the most overlooked in that band.
I mean, because everybody else had a huge personality.
Tommy Lee's got a porno tape. Nikki Sixx made his reputation on dying and coming back, and Vince Neil's a front man.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Mick Mars has not blown anyone away with guitar leads.
Not really. No.
So, I mean that guy, he's serviceable for what they need.
I mean, that guy basically, he could kind of make a video on how to be a fucking mediocre 80s glam rock band guitar player.
I'm really hoping there's a scene where Mick Mars being played by Ewan Ryan is like fucking just flaying someone alive in a hotel room, and that's actually in the book The Dirt. I hope that's why they hired him.
Well, I'm assuming probably What's-Her-Face is probably going to be in there as well as the, she is kind of the Yoko Ono of that band.
Oh, God.
Not Pamela Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, if they covered the whole sex tape thing.
Well, yeah, that's true.
While they were big, she was fucking Bret Michaels for Poison.
God dang, there's got to be some weird things going on in that hen house. But, oh, well, never mind.
And lastly, we've had a lot of bands that have been saying goodbye. So let's go fuck off. Ozzy's doing it.
Elton John is going to keep doing music, but he's not going to tour anymore.
Which is what we were hoping Rush would do.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about that.
Alex Lifeson said they're done.
Yeah. Neil Peart's back is apparently just wrecked.
Yeah. But Alex Lifeson is happy. That dude's like, hey, I'm getting to do shit. There's no stress, no nothing. People are coming to me.
Yeah.
So he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Which I think is about time. 40 years is enough.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't find what if you're already like, I have to have more to consume. 40 years of music is not enough. Well, it is Rush,
farewell
though.
to Cage, you're good.
It is Rush, though.
And who else? We got Leonard Skinner saying goodbye.
They said goodbye back in a plane crash in the 70s. Come on.
God damn it.
A little too soon.
Oh, fuck it. But a big one that kind of came out of nowhere. I think we kind of knew deep down this was coming. Slayer's saying goodbye. And I think it's because Kerry King and Tom Araya fucking hate each other.
Well, and Aaron Lambert from Metal Injection said, who fucking cares? Slayer hasn't been.
Slayer hadn't been Slayer since, God, whenever they put out Diabolus and Musica.
The 90s.
That's when it started falling apart.
Yeah. I mean, so, I guess if you were a Slayer fan way back in the day, that's who they're catering to. But man, they're not making new fans. They're just kind of really appeasing
their
old fans.
Newest album that they put out was the closest Relentless. That was the closest they've ever come to their old shit.
Right.
Everything before that and after 96, 97, It just didn't have the same punch.
Yeah.
But they're bringing along some really good. They're bringing along Lamb of God, Anthrax, Testament, and fucking Behemoth. This is a huge
the
concert.
tour. The funny thing is with the tour is they're probably the least favorable band on the lineup.
Yeah, but people are just gonna be going for Slayer. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of 50-year-olds in that fucking.
A bunch of 50-year-olds wearing pentagrams and shit.
It's gonna be terrible. But it's still a big band, one of the big four, along with, and you got one of the big four touring with them in Anthrax, Metallica, and Megadeth being the other two of the big four thrash.
Yeah,
so,
but Behemoth probably the only one's probably relevant right now, right, in a modern sense.
Anthrax just put a new album out. Lamb of God is probably as big.
Well,
as
Lamb of
it
God,
ever
yeah.
been. Testament. I mean, if you want like Metallica light.
Yeah.
Testament's band for you.
So their final tour is basically the Monsters of Rock tour, just with
just with a little more updated fucking Behemoth is a little more. I don't know,
a little newer, but
I think they're going to be opening. That might be one of the bands like people go and see them, and then when everyone else comes on, they get the fuck out.
Yeah, well, that'd be me. All right,
but hey, it's about time for this band to shut it down. Let them go do something different. Ever since Jeff Hanneman died, it's never been the same.
Right. If we're all done with the metal portion of the podcast, let's move on to the final segment here. And this one's unfortunately lackluster this week. MMA. Talking about all things with mixed martial arts. There's a card probably starting right now as we speak on a Friday night. Bellator 193.
Bellator and LFA.
Yeah. Bellator, the interesting thing is that's the retirement home for UFC fighters.
So that was 193?
Yeah, Bellator 193. You got Lorenz Larkin. Just left the promotion over to go over to Bellator here about a year ago, fighting Fernando Gonzalez. You have Saad Ewad versus J.J. Ambrose, who I don't know how long he's been in Bellator now. Kendall Grove taking on A.J. Matthews, two former UFC guys. Yes. Kendall Grove, he won the Ultimate Fighter Season 3. Where are we at now? Season 21, something like that?
I think we're well above that. I think we're like at 25. And if you want to count all the spinoffs they've done, like Latin America and shit, there's been over 30 Ultimate Fighter shows.
Kendall Grove was the guy. He was like Tito Ortiz's butt boy, yeah?
He was, last time this guy fought in UFC was at UFC 130.
Oh, my God.
Which was headlined by Rampage Jackson and Matt Hamill, which he lost to Tim Boetsch, a guy who's still active today.
Yeah.
But Tim Boetsch is a far more, and then right before that he lost to Damian Maia, again, still active today. He didn't have huge success in the UFC. His biggest win might have been Evan Tanner.
God dang. Well, and Tito had said that, hey, this kid's going to go all the way. Well, all the way right through the UFC, and then when Tito bailed, I think that's when Kendall Grove bailed.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can applaud some loyalty. I guess he had some loyalty to Tito, but man, I was just never a fan.
Yeah, he's on a 2-fight skid in Bellator.
I think he kind of soured me on Hawaiian fighters. I mean, I like Max Holloway. I like El Kukui, Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, and I like BJ. I like BJ Penn. I wish he wasn't fighting right now, but I liked him when he was a fucking killer murderer.
But I kind of have to overcome my disdain of Kendall Grove in order to appreciate those guys. But
well, when you see a Max Holloway and Tony Ferguson fight, it's really easy to put that shit in the back of your head.
Yeah, that's true.
They're both killers.
The shit everybody cares about, that's UFC, and I don't even know if they care about this because the UFC on Fox
27,
coming up
which
tomorrow.
You hear you're going to get a network card. You expect there to be some big fucking fights on that card.
Well, you might be mistaken.
I mean, on paper, only the main event.
I would argue actually the co-mains. All right,
Bermudez and Feely.
Yeah, the main event is, of course, Jacare Souza against Derek Brunson.
The sequel fight.
Jacare needs kind of a big win coming off his loss there on the last time out, but Brunson it wouldn't hurt him to get a win right here either.
Yeah, because Brunson beat Machida.
Brunson, yeah, but who hasn't beat Machida lately?
It's the era of the dragon, man. That's what John Anik said.
John Anik's full of shit. But, so either one of these guys could really use a win on this fight to kind of really put themselves back into the conversation. Yeah. And neither one of these guys are getting any younger is the thing.
No, yeah, Jacare has been around.
God, Jacare's 38 or 37, 38 years old. In Brazilian years, that's like 50.
I'd rather see Jacare get back on the winning track.
I don't really have a horse in that race, but man, yeah.
Well, like your favorite Brazilian fighter at the moment is Barbosa, right?
Yeah.
Jacare's probably mine.
Right.
Because there are two people you don't. I mean, I'm sure one or both have been popped in the past. Who fucking hasn't? But Jacare is a fucking murderer. He is when he is on point, just like Damian Maia. When he's on point, he's on point.
If he catches a really strong striker, which Derek Brunson is, man, that's you never know. And Jacare's chin has been a little bit suspect.
Yeah.
But he's been cracked. But but the co-main, Dennis Bermudez against Andre Fili. Remember when Dennis Bermudez was the shit? And it was like everybody said, "Yep, this guy. It's just a matter of time. He's going to be the featherweight champ."
Jose Aldo came in and dominated that fucking division for years.
And he just hadn't got a sniffing distance to featherweight. Got leapfrogged by Conor McGregor, who took the strap there. And then now Max Holloway has got it. Dennis Bermudez is not... the best he can do is hope that he's kind of a gatekeeper, I think. And Andre Fili, he's still young enough, I think, that he has got... Well, and I'm not saying Bermudez is old, but I think Fili has got kind of a better opportunity ahead of him, I think.
Yeah. Bermudez has more to lose in this fight than Fili does.
Yeah,
Bermudez is also one of those guys like, hey, if I'm going to make a run at this 145 belt,
it's got to be
got to
now.
get going.
Yeah.
That could be your fight of the night. I'm not really sure.
Because really neither one of those guys want to take that thing to the ground. Bermudez probably more than Fili, but yeah.
Gregor Gillespie and Jordan Rinaldi might be good too. That
is the third fight from the top, yeah. And a lot of that is because Rinaldi, I think, his last time out, it was either last time or the time before, had a pretty impressive finish, I believe. And a lot of times when you get that, you kind of want to see, wow, well, can they get another fight of the night?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he got fight of the night in the last one, but I think he came pretty close, or at least he was in the discussion. And you got Drew Dober, a welterweight, fighting Frank Camacho.
I fucking like Drew Dober, man.
I used to not care for the guy at all, but god dang, it's hard not to like him.
Yeah. I mean, if this is not a fucking card for the casual MMA fan. It's not.
Yeah, that's the problem, and it's on Fox. This is where they need to be.
It's where it needs to be for casual fans.
Yeah, man, it's a great card if you're a nerd like we are when it comes to MMA. But man, if the sport is trying to gain fans, this isn't the card to do it with.
Yeah, because this is Camacho's first fight back at 170. Because that last fight he had fought at lightweight.
Yeah, he's 155, right?
So he's coming back up to a weight class that, I don't like it when people go back and forth between weight classes because I think it's really difficult.
Yeah, but that 155 to 170 is there's a weird chasm in the middle of that.
It seems to be like one of the more difficult cuts.
And I don't know where you put in a super lightweight division or something like that because God, you go 160, that's not enough. 165 is too close to welterweight. You can't go 162 and a half. You sound like a boxing asshole.
If you're going to change weight classes, you're going to have to change all of them. It's going to have to be a total reformatting of everything.
Which I don't know if it's time, but man, there's a lot of people that have that weird
and the UFC
issue.
would probably be fine with that. They'd probably be fine with we can have 18 champs. That's fine.
Oh yeah, they don't have a problem throwing out those interim titles as much as they can.
Either you need to, you might maybe have to have less weight classes.
Yeah,
and just make the jump between each bigger. That way, there's,
I think Demetrius Johnson's rule basically shown that the 125 division is not necessary.
Your champion, your pound for pound greatest fighter of all time, is coming out saying, I have officially cleaned this division out, shut it down, and let's go.
And all the while, and the UFC might be considering that, but then they go and add a 125 in the women, and 145, and outside of the prelim main event of Bobby Green, Eric Coach, there's not really a whole lot else going on this card. Not really.
The Mighty Mouse thing,
Randa,
Randa Marco's fighting Lima, right?
Right.
Yeah. But this is a far more interesting topic. What would you think would be the better benefit? Dillashaw cutting to $1.25 to fight Mighty Mouse for his belt, or fucking Mighty Mouse going up to 135 and fighting TJ for his?
Well, it depends what the promotion wants to do with 125. If the promotion wants to go ahead and pull the plug, call her quits on 125, then you have DJ, go up and fight.
Which at that point you make Mighty Mouse's fucking lineage and his legacy even bigger. It's like, I was the only champ in that fucking weight division.
Yeah.
It might be the right choice.
God, I think it is.
And all of a sudden, your 135 starts getting a little scarier.
Yeah.
Because look at what
already,
John Dodson has done.
Man, it's already pretty scary.
John Dodson is on his way to a fight with Dillashaw if that fucking Mighty Mouse fight doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I can't figure out, I don't know, man. Maybe it's a conspiracy theorist in me. I can't figure out why the promotion does not like TJ Dillashaw.
I don't know.
I think he's likable. I think he's marketable. I think the guy's got a lot going for him, but God, they fucking short sheet that guy every time.
He's marketable to the hardcore MMA fan.
Yeah.
He really is, because we know what he is. He might be the one guy that can go down to $1.25 and beat Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, which if that happens, I think you could then collapse.
I've never been able to say that about anybody.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that guy that won the Ultimate Fighter. I can't remember his name offhand.
Fucking, but there's been 25 of them.
The one that where the winner got to fight Mighty Mouse.
Right.
Tim Elliott.
Yeah.
Tim Elliott. He had the most success because he was an unknown.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you need to do. You just need to really start going to these little fucking amateur leagues, start finding someone to fucking send up to him. But TJ and Mighty Mouse is a fight to make.
Yeah.
That is the super fight we deserve this year.
I think 2018 might be the year of the super fight. I think it might be, you might see TJ Dillashaw and Demetrius Johnson. God, I think you might see Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg Santos. I think
Brazilian fighting Brazilian. I don't know, man.
I think there's a possibility that you might see a Daniel Cormier-Stipe Miocic fight. Possibly, if you're trying to find super fights.
Oh, that's kind of a bold prediction.
DC he's a former heavyweight, so why not?
Did you see where DC had said, "Oh man, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Cain Velasquez. I couldn't beat Cain Velasquez."
Yeah, well, fucking yeah.
That's because you'd never fight him, you sack of shit.
Well, besides that, Cain's really, really fragile. So
yeah, that dude is like Humpty Dumpty, son. Oh no, the last thing out of the MMA realm from me. Apparently, Nate Diaz is wanting to fight in May or June.
Yeah, apparently.
And Eddie Alvarez called him out and called him this is one of the best slams I've heard of the year. A fucking dork. Got to bring dork back.
Yeah, Compton dork maybe. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I would watch an Eddie Alvarez Nate Diaz fight.
Yeah,
because I think Eddie Alvarez would knock him the fuck out.
Well, the problem is though. Here's where the really big problem with Nate Diaz is because he. After,
he's really not that great a fighter.
2 fights with Conor McGregor.
I said that out loud.
2 fights with Conor McGregor, man, that lined his pocketbook. That dude, Nate Diaz, has made more basically in those 2 fights than his brother Nick has made his entire combined winnings since being a professional fighter. But now, so then Nate thinks that he deserves that kind of money. It wasn't Nate Diaz that was drawing that money.
Only time he's going to get that money is if he's fighting Conor McGregor.
And McGregor, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You already had we talked about this yesterday or maybe it was last week. I don't know, but not on the podcast about what you thought that McGregor, what might happen, because it's probably there's a very great likelihood he's going to get stripped of the title.
I already see that happening.
But you expect that he'll probably come back though.
I think he will. I think it adds. Well, it really adds to the storyline of a big fight. Conor gets stripped. Tony and Khabib fight. Who the fuck knows wins that fight? I mean, I think that could be a fight of the year right there.
Yeah.
And we'll finally get to see if Khabib can fucking be that guy.
Right.
Can he make weight in a big title fight, and can he win that fight after the weight cut? Fighting a guy like Tony Ferguson, which he's rockable, but he can also fucking put you down.
Yeah.
I like Conor's chances more against Tony than Khabib.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because like 30 seconds into that fight, Conor's ass is on his back getting pounded and the fight's over.
Yeah.
I mean, unless that guy's done nothing but work on his ground game while he's been waiting for the big money fight.
Prolific wrestlers always beat prolific strikers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fucking Nate Diaz did it.
Yeah.
And he's not really a wrestler. He's a grappler, but not a wrestler.
I can take that with the indignity that I'm wearing the Rumble Johnson shirt today.
I know. Your skin must be on fire.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a proven fact. I mean, with one exception, John Jones versus Daniel Cormier.
That's true. That is very true. Well, I mean, Muay Thai that might be a little different.
Yeah.
With a guy that likes getting close, trying to take it down.
Well, because wrestlers have to shoot for that double leg, and when they do, those Muay Thai guys throw fucking knees.
Look what happened to Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
Shot for
absolutely.
the takedown, and Yoel put him into space.
That's it. Yeah. Of course, Yoel, you could say, is well, that guy's prolific at striking and wrestling nowadays.
That fucking guy just needs to work on his tank. That's it.
Well, he's got too much musculature.
He's humongous.
Yeah.
He's a fucking light heavyweight fighting at 185.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Let's wrap this shit up so we can throw down some rye.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's go corn.
Like
go.
we haven't been already.
Let's go cornhole us a drunk.
To quote, Jane Silent Bob Strike Back.
I figured we'd get another one in.
Yeah.
Ruben really liked your Jay quote from last week, by the way. $15, little man.
Yeah, right. All right,
Actually, fucking put it on Facebook.
Let's run through our picks here for this week on the Mead side. Green Man for all that ails you.
I'm fucking going for whatever I can throw down my throat tonight. Whoa, hold on.
Hold on now.
We're going to have to re-record that part. I don't want that on the internet. Whatever I can throw down my throat. Nah, I'm going fucking Budweiser and goddamn Bullet Rye.
There you go. Metal side of the podcast, nothing this week. I would I'll let me back that up. Black Moth, check them out if you haven't checked them out already. At least, hey, it might expand your horizons a little bit. If you like chicks.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, if you like broads, go ahead and check it out there.
Check out these dames singing on stage with this doom metal band. Yeah, no.
I'm gonna go fucking that. And I didn't get a chance to bring it up. That new Primordial song, "Stolen Years."
Yeah, no. You know what? I kind of dig. I want to go back and kind of check that out after the show. And then MMA. You can't make me really care about a lot of the weekend's cards.
I'm backing Jacare. Ronaldo Jacare Souza to fucking tap Derek Brunson out after he gasses in the third.
Yeah. Drew
Brunson's going to come out swinging and try to kill him. It's just going to take one. But I think Jacare is going to take it down to the ground and just fucking put him to sleep.
Drew Dober just keep a streak alive, I guess. But nothing fantastic.
The hills of Dober.
All right, that's going to be it for us. Our final podcast of the month of January, and hope life treats you well over the course of the next week. We'll be back here to do it all over again.
I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and only you.
I think you might have used that one already this year.
I don't care. I'm getting that. That's a fucking yearly saying for me. I love it.
All right. Well, get out and have fun. Check out new music as much as you can. Black Moth again.
Even though we say we hate it, go check it out for yourself. You might love it, and that's really all that fucking matters.
It is. That's exactly right. Oh, and if you're looking for like basically a Tool tribute band, you might want to check out Samadhi. That's kind of what Brandon laid on me. I hadn't thought about it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, man. They fucking really send a lot. I mean, y'all hear it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we're going to get time to throw down some rye. Black Moth getting you out. Have a good week, and we'll see you again next week.
Good night, friends.